All right, everybody. I've got a Mr. Street here, looking up at the camera once again. I've got a drawing here I want you to create. This should look familiar. We did a 3-view drawing of this object from the textbook, and it's called a lock finger. Right? 3-view drawing we did. We're going to do an oblique drawing today. The new tricky part is figuring out how to incorporate these curved surfaces into an oblique drawing. You know that we did the 3-view front, top, and right side. We've done oblique drawings of objects with no curves. We've done them with surfaces that are parallel to the planes of projection, parallel and perpendicular to the planes of projection, parallel and perpendicular to each other as well. Then we did one with a sloped surface, but still a flat surface, right? So this is going to be a curved surface that we want to illustrate in an oblique drawing. So the first thing, of course, in an oblique drawing, just as in the past, is to draw the front view, okay? And I've done a little bit of math here based on this existing thing, and I'm going to tell you how to position your front view in the first place on this page, and then from there you're going to project, back into the page with your triangle, right, or with your angle somehow. So the best positioning of this, first of all, I've gone around and set up my border line. I know it's really light right now. I'm going to darken it later, but I made my border line, 1/4-inch border, from every edge. And then down here at the bottom, the title block is 3/8 of an inch tall with 1/8 inch guidelines for lettering right here. Now, so if I come up 2 1/16 inches, hold on, let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing now. If I come up 2 1/16 inches to the bottom edge, what will be the bottom edge of the front view, I made a horizontal line there for that, and I came over 1 11/16 inches to the end of the object, right about here, and then I'm going to go further over 1 1/4 inches because the radius and the circle and all that stuff are both located at the same spot, 1 1/4 inches from the end of the object. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get started. We know that the first thing we want to do is create this radius on the end of the object, and it's 1 1/4 inch radius. So if I get my my compass set carefully here. Oops, got it the wrong place. Okay, I'm gonna do the radius first, and then match up the straight lines to it. All right. So first the radius for this end piece. Carefully get it lined up here. It doesn't matter if I go a little past, as long as I'm doing it lightly to start with, a little past this center line, which is going to be the point that my horizontal lines intersect, right? Okay, we'll do that there, and I might as well go ahead and draw my 1-inch circle here in the center real light. To use my circle template, carefully line up the center marks. Okay, and lightly draw a circle here. Okay, there we go. Then the next thing is to carefully draw the horizontal lines that establish the top and bottom of the front view. That. Don't know if you can see that much yet, but we'll get to it. And then going from this center line to the end of the object is 4 1/8 inches. 4 1/8 inches to the end of the object. Okay, we'll do that next. All right. And we know that I'm keeping these lines nice and light because there's going to be things I need to erase away, before too long. But this, particularly this corner at the top here, is, we know that this isn't going to be part of the object. But we've got to establish that corner so that we know where to draw our radius for this other notch cutout, right? I've got to draw this radius here, right here. In order to do it, I've got to have that center mark, that center point established by construction lines, extending this one, and finding that point. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that right now. Oh, and it's the same same size, same radius as the end of the block, so that's convenient. I leave my compass set for the same size, right? Okay, I believe that is the basic front view of the object, right? Let's hold this up to the camera now before I start to do the next step. Okay, hopefully you can see that there. I've got here is the basic overall shape. Made this curved part first, this radius at the end. Came with tangent lines here to create the top and bottom edges, and from that corner there, draw this arc right here, right? So the next step then, just like in the past, is to start with this front view and then project back into the page. The tricky part is that the easy part is that when these circles face the front, which these do, this circle, or this arc, and this arc all face the front, they don't have to be distorted. If they were on the receding edge, they would be have to be drawn as an ellipse. But because they face the front, they're still a circle, right? The tricky part then is to have transitions going to the next, to the back version of it. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean here. I'm going to extend this center point back along that angle, right? Just like we done in the past with oblique drawings. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this 30-degree angle as my how I'm projecting back. I'll start from this corner, project back like that. And the main thing is to project this corner back first. I'll project this one back. Even though this isn't part of the object, this location for the center mark has to be projected back like that. Okay, and yeah, and then and I need to project back on this center mark here. Okay, to project back nice and light because I know it's going to get erased away. That's going to help me to make my other circles, right, for the receding edge. All right, next, well, let's see that up close to the camera. Really good idea. Hold it up here and take a look right here. Remember, I drew this arc here, but from this corner, that establishes the center mark, the center point for this arc. But in order to make the one back here, I need to project that point back on that angle. This one's obvious. That's going to be the bottom edge of the block, and that's as normal. That's a right angle and everything. So there's nothing fancy about that. And then, very importantly, we take the center point of this circle and of this arc, that's center point for both, and project that back along that same angle. So next, I'm going to take my curve, next I'm going to measure along those lines. And this distance going back here is the same as the width of the object. This width right here is 1 7/8 inches, right? The depth of the object is 1 7/8 inches. So if I go here and go 1 7/8, it might be helpful to go back and look at this assignment to see these dimensions. You know, it's posted, look at the original assignment, the 3-view drawing, to see how to do this. Okay, 1 7/8 along this line, and 1 7/8 along this line. Very carefully find that point, because then we're going to make our curves. Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and yeah, that's what I'll do first. I'll do this one. This will make it better for me. I'm going to go ahead and do this part first. Okay, this vertical line. Here. And I'll do, I'll go ahead and draw my curves then. Remember that we're starting right along here. Now, here's the thing. I don't need to draw a curve inside here where it's not going to be seen. What I really need to do is draw this curve outside here. I'm going to try to draw it really light, because there's a bunch of this that's going to get erased away. Okay? It's very interesting how we do this now. Watch. Okay, so I do like that. Okay, that's interesting. And to do this top edge here, I'm going to draw this line right out to there. Okay, so that's going to be that back edge there. Now, how do we do this guy right here? We should be able to take a 30-degree angle, same as we did the 30-degree angle for the center lines, a 30-degree angle like this, and what we really want is a neat, very neat tangent line going from how the tangent intersection of this curve and that curve, just like that. Okay, I'm going from, I'm creating a tangent where this 30-degree angle intersects the top edge of this curve, and it intersects the top edge of that curve as well, and it looks kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to, in a second, I'm going to erase away the extra part of the curves I don't need, right? Now, the other thing I can do while I've got this here, I'm going to go ahead and draw this curve. It goes like this, right? So this is the curve in the front view we made originally. We projected that center point back to this corner, and now we made this curve, right? And so let's take a good, better look at this. Okay, here, very important to get a really neat tangent line intersecting that curve and this curve. And what I'm going to do next is erase away excess parts here, a little tiny bit there I'm going to erase away, and this part of this curve I'm going to erase that away, okay? And I'm going to erase away this excess curve right here. And you should see it should come out to be a neat transition from this front edge into this end here and up to that other back edge. Okay, so let's see if I can make it look nice. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. A little tiny bit of extra curve there. Little tiny extra bit there. Right. And I can go ahead and start erasing away this extra, these extra construction lines as well. Right? It should be starting to shape up a bit like the finished drawing. I'm going to take away this extra line here, this extra line here. Now the only thing I'm going to do before I hold it up, I'm going to go ahead and draw these other lines. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I want to carefully, if I use my 30-degree angle, I should carefully connect those two there. Oh yeah, I need to get rid of this extra line inside here. That does not stay. Right? Okay. Now here's the thing. If this other circle, where it intersects back here, if we can see that, that would be something like this for this back surface, right? But because that's totally hidden by this other part, and none of it shows up in this view here, right? If this was a narrower thing and that circle would intersect something like this, then yes, we would show an edge of it inside here. But because this is so thick that circle in the back is completely hidden by all this material in front, and so there's nothing to show there. It's just going to look like it does right now. Okay, I could get you an example maybe where it's different, but for the moment I'll just suffice it to say that's all hidden, so we don't have to show it. Right? So I'll do some quick lines here to show this how this should look. Here's that edge. And those are established just based on where the curves intersect these vertical and horizontal lines, right? A little more cleaning up. Let's take a look at it. Remember, once again, just like in the 3-view drawing, we're trying to get very neat transitions between the straight lines and the curves. Trying to get them to come in very neatly tangent to one another, and so that it's a smooth transition from the curve to the straight edge. All right, so let's take a look at that. See how we did here. Okay, so you know, I figured out where this bottom edge would be, measured up from there to the to this center mark, made this curve, projected the lines this way to create most of the front view, and came out to this corner, so I'd have that corner there to establish the center point for this curve right here, right? Then projecting back this center point, and this bottom edge right here. I chose a 30-degree angle to go back like this, right? And from that I could then start to construct this vertical line, this curve here, this one here, and very important, we projected this center point back to make this curve over here. Now it turns out there's not a lot of curve left when you get done, but it's still critical that you carefully draw that, right? And then with your 30-degree lines, carefully create a tangent from this curve to a tangent with that curve, smoothly transition here, and then draw that, and so on. Okay, and of course then I'm going to go through here and darken the whole thing, and hopefully when I get done it looks really nice. We'll try that. I'll also erase away some more of these extraneous parts. What are now extraneous, right? Okay, so the next thing then is to darken it in, right? And I've been using this dark pencil here because it really is, it gives a really good contrast and shows up best on the camera. I might, in real life, I might just use an F pencil, but I'm going to use this 4B. I'm actually going to get my glasses too. Here we go. All right, let's start drawing. Oh, before I do the horizontal lines, I think I'll darken the curves first. I'll darken the curves first. That gives me a better target to get these to flow in neatly, right? Okay. Luckily, I've still got these nice little holes in the paper where I use as my center marks, right? My centers. So I know where to draw these from. That looks pretty good. Now we'll go down and finish doing the horizontal lines. That looks pretty good. Hopefully that's looking okay in the camera. Whoops, little mess up there. Oh, I forgot my circle too. Okay, no problem. That's my 1-inch circle here. All right, that looks pretty good. Do some vertical lines. Not too worried about the title block at the moment. Eventually I'll probably ask you to do the title block, but I don't think we need another demonstration of that. Okay, so all we've got left is a few angled lines and we'll be all set. All right. that should be it. Take a look now. Okay. Take a look there, right? Nice, nice transitions here from the curve to the straight lines, here and here and here and here, right? Nicely darkened in. Remembering that we projected the center marks back for this, from this circle to this curve back here to make this other curve, and from here back to here to make the second curve there, as well as all the other parts of a oblique drawing. So there's an oblique drawing, full-size oblique drawing of the lock finger object, right? And of course, yes, then I would ask you to come back and fill in the title block with your name and the title and so on and so forth. Okay? All right. Very good.